Okay, we gotta. Well, it's a 4 minute mark, so give us a second here. We're just getting started, leaving some links on Facebook to try to get some viewers in here. Go into my page called Music Theory for Guitar Dummies. Is that what it was? No. Music Theory for Rock-Headed Guitarists. A group called Music Theory for Rock-Headed Guitarists. You guys should join. It's on Facebook. Just look up Music Theory for Rock-Head Guitarists. Let me try to get that link over here really quick. So we're going to hit paste. There's my link to my video. However, the title isn't going right, but whatever. Oh, I can delete that, can't I? Oh, it deletes the whole fucking thing. Well, anyways, I'll just have a link there, and we're going to go... Experiment in making a cheat sheet for changing keys or soloing over chords outside experiment needs to be spelled correctly. Alright, post. That's done. So hopefully people will bump in from over there. Yeah, and for everyone else who's waiting, just thank you for waiting patiently. Now, we're going to turn on live chat and put that in a small window so we can see it if anybody shows up. And so far, no one there, but no big deal. Let's get this lesson rolling today. Let me get my camera angles right. I think I got my fretboard right here in the picture. Throw some junk out of the way there. A little crunchy sound, but I think we're going to deal with that today. So we'll get right to the point of the lesson here. What we want to try to do here, I want to show you something you can do to visualize, get it visualized, and maybe even internalized, a concept that can help you change keys or understand where the notes are, the new notes are, that will work with the new chord. I was just noodling there for no reason. Sorry, wasting your time there. Let's get to the point. Great live videos. Well, I guess that's a live video for you. When they're edited, they're more to the point. But edit-ins for people who have time and Patreon followers, right? So you guys support me on Patreon, and I'll make some edited videos like the ones I've done before. But I gotta get a day to do those, and I gotta pay rent on that day. So if it's worth it to people, and I'm thinking, like if it was worth $1 to 1,000 people, then I mean, I think there's a lot of guitar players in the world that would probably like to know some of this information getting started out at any given time. Think about how many people are just picking up a guitar tomorrow or today, brand new people every day picking up this instrument and want to know what to do. So let's draw a fretboard out here. As you see, we're doing a typical, taking 8 million years to do the nut there. E, A, D, G, B, E. And try to be as neat as possible here. Unlike on some other videos, and damn, this, maybe I need to do something else here. Hold on a second here. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That nice professional backing there. What is that? Car magazine? Alright. Now, why I had to do that is because now I can use my straight edge flat on the paper, which is what I wanted to do. So, where are we starting? Right about, let's say there. So we got, I think our 24th fret's going to be right about there, right? Did I get that wrong? So what do we got here? Oh, well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's create the nut. Write yourselves in E, A, D, G, B, E. Draw another line up at the top here. Now, we don't know where to stop, but here's what we're going to do. We should actually do, kind of showing you this the wrong way. We should do another step first, but we're just going to go like that because we don't really care today. We're going to 3, 5, 7, 9, skip 2, skip 1 line, make some dots up here so you got your 12th fret visualized, skip another 2 fret, nice and symmetrical like everything on the guitar, and another 4 dots, spaced a step apart, skip 2 to my loo, and you have your 24th fret here, right off the screen. So what do we got here? Do I have to... Mother effer. So I got to just readjust my focus here. So let's do that for a second here. Gotta get camera tool up on the screen, and we're just gonna drop this back a little bit. Oh, a little too much there. How about this? And I gotta get this down here so we can see what the hell's going on. A little bit like that should do it. Yeah, okay, that's that's what we want there. And while I'm at it, maybe I'll make me a little bigger. Not that you're really gonna need to see my my guitar today, I don't think, for this lesson, but so there we go. Square up our 24 fretboard. Even though I'm holding a 22 fret guitar, what is this one? This Strat. This is a Strat I built. This is what, 20, it was a 22 fret. Anyways, so, I don't know, 21, right? If that's 19, 15, 17, 19, 21, 22. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay, anyways, 24 frets, though, we'll take care of. Okay, so let's say we're in a key. And we're going to start with a very simple key. We're in the key of C. So where's the C on our guitar? The first, let's find any C, right? So we know that our 5th fret on our E strings is an A, right? A, B, C, right? And here, let's make it beginner style here. If you were to write the scale out from A and cover 12 frets, the notes look like this: A, then there's A sharp, B flat. B and C are together. C, D, D, E, E and F are together. And in between these notes, just take the note from behind, put it on top, take the note from ahead, put it in that square, and you got your F sharp, G flat, a box that tells you that that note is G sharp, A flat. So there's 12 notes right there. In case you're wondering where we derive all this from, but hopefully you know your notes on your guitar, at least some places. Anyways, we have a C here and we have a C here, and we want to make that our scale, right? So we're going to draw, and this is how we draw our scale on a fretboard. It's how easy it is to imagine the C major scale instantly over the entire fretboard. This is what my mind's eye knows about. And if you watch some other lessons, if you're brand new, I always teach these lessons, by the way, for everyone who's like frustrated that, like, come on, like, you've already told us this. The trouble with these YouTube lessons is people wander into these things from nowhere, so you gotta kind of catch them up, or else they leave comments like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, where the hell did you pull this shit?" You know. So, I guess I gotta I feel like I need to go from the beginning here. But then the trouble with that is you want to do it fast, and it doesn't make any sense. So, better off doing a live video. Now you see why people edit videos, right? Anyways, so we're gonna make our scale B, C, E, F, right? Always forms a square on the guitar. And that square always connects to itself at this corner. So you can start making your scale like this. Now there's always a problem. The B and the E string are shifted up one, so naturally that has to shift over here. Okay? As is above, so is below, and we start the same process here. If we have a full box on the bottom, we have a split box on the top. Remember, that's the bottom string, same bottom string. So in theory, if you had a B string on your guitar, you'd have this square right there, but you don't, so you don't. So we put our square, our row of squares here, and here with our broken box. But anyways, here we have all the notes of C majors, and we want to just basically want to get those filled out for you really quick here, so we can C, C major, C, C major, ha 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 ha, right? Isn't that funny? So we're already up an octave here, so we've got this row of split boxes. Split box, full box that's broken because it resides over the B string shift. We're going to fill these up with numbers, so while this looks like a whole bunch of boxes all mixed together here, this will get filled in pretty quick there. So if we have a half box there. This is not a note right there, and this is a note. So if we have a half box, it means we have a full box at the top, meaning that we're back to our There's only two rows. There's the full row, the row that doesn't break the boxes, and the row that does break the boxes. So we're back here, over here. Now, this all becomes a lot more clear once you realize that when you've made these boxes, you've made your, what you might know as your Aeolian or your Dorian, um, Aeolian, and then your Phrygian and Dorian are together, meaning that these are all pentatonic boxes. There's a pentatonic box from the G string, and we'll, if you fill in notes inside of it, you get these scales. Like, for example, your Dorian shape. Um, the shapes that your guitar teacher taught you that didn't make any sense because, and they're not going to make any sense here either, so we're not going to talk about them that way, just to move on quickly here. Let's just populate this so I can tell you the guts of this glorious lesson here, because there's some deep information and we want to get that out to you. So on each side of the box, all I need to do is create two notes, and in short order, we're going to have the entire fretboard filled out with notes. We just went wrong there, but thank God we use pencils so we can erase it, right? Alrighty, so let's get this filled out here. We want a major scale filled out here, so we've got basically this happening there. Come on, come on. And yeah, so aside from probably a note here and there, we've got all our notes filled out here. It's got to be there. That's got to be there. This is probably right there. Okay. That's got to be there. And like that. There's the. I'm just drawing what I know is my Aeolian box there. You might name them that. You might name them something else, but okay. So basically, for all intents and purposes, we've got all the notes of the fretboard filled out there. You just copy whatever's over there for over there. And this looks like a jumbled mess right now, but the key is this. What we want to do is fill in some interval notes in this box. So we've because the whatever note we put in this box is our root note. That box is always the root. The square is always the root. So this is the shape that moves over up and down the fretboard. You just, if you want to know, how to name it, well, whatever's in that box, this is the magic box, and that creates the note. So today we've got it placed over C, so we've got the C major scale, like most any theory lesson uses the C major scale, because it uses all the whole notes, not any of the sharp or flat notes, which are incidentally the white keys on the piano, not the black keys. So it's got some clarity to it, especially if you transfer this, or if you're coming from a piano background. So these, if that is the case, if we're in the key of C here, we could have used A, or we could have used whatever letter, but then we'd have sharp and flats to just make it a little bit more cluttered. So that means that we're going to put some interval numbers underneath these chord tones. Basically, first of all, we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A to number. So we'll start with C, and since that's the 1, we can say 1 or we can say root. So I'm going to put an R there for root. Okay? So then this is the 2, and this is the 3 and the 4, and the 5 and the 6. 6, 7, back to the root. See how all that works? Okay? So, and basically this would, when you skip a tone, don't skip a tone, 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 right? You create a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and the magic of that is it always leads back to the do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, so forgive me for my monotone voice here, where I probably didn't sing any of them notes. But anyways, so our root is, here would be our scale then. We have a chord built on the 2, the 3 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, and the 7 chord. Like all these intervals, they're just single notes in this diagram, but you can build chords from each one of these notes by including notes that every other note. So 3 of every other note. So like for root, we have this note, we have the C, E, and G. I'm sure you've heard make a C chord, and D, F, and A make a D chord, right? A D minor chord. So we can build chords off of these. And just for a handy reference, we might even put major, minor. Let's just put a small m there for minor, a small m there for minor, big M, put a 7 there, because that'll be important to know. And we'll put a minor there, which is the same here, and then we'll put a dim here for diminished, and that clutter of words there will tell you to just kind of not really worry about that one until you get to your jazz level of playing. So most of your songs are going to have, the 4 chord, a 5 chord. Almost everything's going to have a 5 chord. That's going to go back to the 1 chord. If it's in, standard major, or maybe, it's starting off in this chord, so it, goes here and keeps coming back to this chord. Whatever the case may be, there's going to be a selection of chords that all belong to a key in most music. Almost everything is bouncing around the root, the 5th, the 4th, or some 3 or 4 chord pulled from a scale built like this. Built like, a major scale built. Doesn't have to be in the key of C, but for our example, let's say all music was based on the key of C. So, anyways, you just get lost explaining stuff because you don't know, because you have no one there to respond to, which means I should put up my chat box here because that's been disappearing for a while. Oh, no one's here. You never know who your audience is. So I'm going to assume that you guys know a little bit more than I'm dragging on with, so I can speed up this lesson a little bit. And get to the goddamn point, right? Oh man, sorry, you can't see this, but I'm messing with my screen right now. Something was going weird, but okay. So you're gonna have a song with chords built like this, and that's in the key. So if you use this scale, any of these chords are playing, it kind of works. And I personally use my ear to outline chord tones, and sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's interesting, but it's always at least sounding in key. So. I don't know, just some random stuff based on the C major scale right there. But anyways, you'll be easy to solo there because you draw out your scale here, and those are all your good note choices, and your bad note choices are in between the boxes. In other lessons, I've filled it all in so it looks all pretty. This one you can't really tell what's going on, but you will in a second here. What we're gonna do, all we need to do is fill in the interval notes here. Then, so we got basically a 1, a 7, a 3, and a 4. This is an experimental lesson, so this is what my thought is today. You might be able to do this by filling in note names too, and if that's what makes more sense to you, go ahead and do that. 7, 1, 3, 4, 3, 4, 7, 1, 3, 4, 7, 1, 3, 4. These are all the same intervals. This would be 7, 1, 7, 1, 3, 4. We're down to the boxes again. 7, 1, 3, 4. 71, 34. Okay, so we want to just get the rest of this filled out, of course. So 71, top's always 71, bottom is 34. You can just remember that little sprinkle of intervals there. So as you can see here, between the 3, 4, and the 7, 1, there'll always be a 5 and a 6. So let's find all our 4s and put a 5 and a 6 there. 5, and 6. 6 and 5. 6 and 5. It's got to be a 6. Open string G, there's a 5. In the key of C, G is 5th, right? What do you know? Okay, so in between the 1 and the 3 is always a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically, you really just have to go 2, 5, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2, oops, 2. Oh, did I do that right? Oh, I just fucked all that up. Excuse my language throughout this lesson here. 5, 6, 2, 5, 6. Haha. 2, 5, 6, 2. 2, 5, 6, 2, 2, 5, 6, 2, 2, 5, 6, 2. 7134. Right? So, that's like a phone number. Like, there's the next lesson. 8 still. Should have been 8675309. Should have been 2567134. There, I made a new song out of a phone number. Ha ha ha. Call your friends at the major scale at 256-7134. Ha ha ha. Funny, 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 funny. If I get a if I open a music school, that I would try to see if the phone company could give me that phone number. How funny would that be? Hey, did you call us? Well, you learned everything you need to know. We'll see you later. Okay, sorry. Funny, funny, funny. So, once again, 5, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2, 5, 6, 2. Get it, got it, good. So, we've got a 1. We must have a 7, 1, 3, 4 right there. Where the C major chord starts, the 1, right? The G, or the 5 there, sorry, the G. You're basically taking the 5th, 7th, a 2, 5, creates a G chord. Anyways, just some daydreaming there on some things, other topics there. So, and there's a 34, right? On your open E string. Square right off the charts there. Okay, so here's your, now it looks a little bit more obvious, right? So if that 6 chord is playing, what would that be? A minor. Get a cleaner sound for everybody today. So for example, let's ring out something. Let's just create a A minor to a 6, 2, 3, 4, 1 progression. Okay. Now I'm going to use this, just think of these squares as I go around the fretboard. So yeah, all those hammering things, I'm just thinking about, which finger's on the square, which one is in between. It's pretty easy to know where the hell I am all over the fretboard. I'll start at 1. So, be sure that perhaps thinking that sound was all overblown, walking all over the chords there. But anyways, yeah, just gathered all those tones from all over the fretboard. I can be just thinking about this kind of, now that I know how the fretboard works, it's not anything that's anything. So, but that is in one key. So here's what we want to do. Here's the meat and potatoes. The final at 32 minutes in. I thought I was way deeper in the lesson, but okay, it's only been 32 minutes. 32 minutes in. So what we want to do if we want to change keys. So first of all, you got to know a little something about the key change. Or where let's just say it's going to be one chord. Where's that chord going to be borrowed from? That's going to take a little knowledge. And also, a lot of times that chord will not be the 1 chord of a new key, might be the 5 chord of another key. So that'll take some calculating to know what to do. You might not be able to do this on the fly, but if you know your song and you're creating a song, I can show you this cheat sheet here that'll get you to be able to think about soloing, a way to solo from one chord to another. So here we go. How do you do it? Well, let's say that we're going to play. Well, there could be a couple ways you could, we need another chord here that's outside the key. How did you get to this other chord? Is it something you strummed? You just thought you wanted to move your music there? Or are you going for another modal sound? That would be another reason to grab a brand new chord. And so, whatever the case may be, let's say I'm going to pick a chord here. Let's see. Let me think here. Okay. I want to make a pretty reasonably abrupt change, but not too far away from the key center. So that means what I need to think about. Did you hear what I said there? When I change keys, I have 11 other keys to change to. These keys are in groups. I got a code for this, but I'm not going to show you in this lesson. I'm going to leave that behind a Patreon wall. But what's pretty easy to know is that there are groups of notes that are shared with the original key, and they range from anywhere between 2 and 6 notes. So remember, there's 7 notes in your original key. If the original key is the original 7 notes. If you take that major scale concept and change to any other note on the in the range here of 12 notes, you will be possibly going from either sharing 2 to 6 notes. There's no scale that shares 1 note, and any scale that shares 7 notes is the exact same scale. 7 notes is 7 notes. That's all there is. So, but there are, you might think, well, there's only 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but you have 11 choices. What else is there? But it works like there's basically 2 versions of each. There's 2 scales that'll share 5 notes, 2 that'll share 4, 2 that will share 3, and 3 that will share 2, if that makes any sense. But anyways, moving on. Let's do a 4-note change. So if I want 4, let's see. Okay. what we know is our key is moving up a flat third from where we are. Let's just say, for safety's sake, we want to move a flat third up. So we were playing in C and we want to go play in E flat. So let's write that down. We're going from C to E flat, right? Now let's say, for simplicity's sake, our first chord progression was just based on the 1, the C, just to keep it easy. It wasn't based on the 2, which would be Dorian. The 3 would be Phrygian, meaning it started on the 3 and always kept going back to the 3. It gets a little more complex. Let's keep it simple and just keep it on the C chord. You know that's boring. So we'll go. I don't know. Something with the C major chords in it, starting on a C, okay? You pick. Now, our chord key that we want to go to is E flat. And from E flat, not only, let's go a little complex here. Let's go to the 5 chord in E flat because it's somewhat easier to get into other keys by using the 5 of the new key. So, especially if we want to get to this note, the E flat, as a resolution, then we're going to go in on the 5. So, what is the 5 of that key? Well, we don't even really need to know that yet. Here's what we're going to do. We know that, our relationships, we should know these interval relationships. They always stay the same. Like from your 1, your 5 is always there. That's easy to know because you know what a power chord is, and you know it's a 1-5-1. You know where your 5th is? That's in the 5th. Remember, circle of fifths? Well, that's it. Going backwards for the 4ths. Oh no, that's 5ths. This is 4ths. I don't know, something like that. I'm not going to get into that right now and think about it all. But what our point was, we need to know these relationships. So, in E flat, where's our E? So, oh my God, making this way more complex than I need to. First of all, this is how simple this is. We need our new key is E flat. So we're going to go, and that's a flat third away from our original key. So what we're going to do here is make a new scale. I mean, in theory, all you need to do, but this sounds a little more jumpy when you're soloing. It doesn't sound like you're as fluid as the people who really know what's up. But during that key change from to something from E flat, you just need to move your scale up 2 frets. 3 frets. My bad. Okay, so you ask, like, what are we talking about? If you're new and you don't know what a flat third is, let's use C as the 1. Write this pattern down. Flat 2, 2, flat 3, 3, 4, flat 5th, 5th, sharp 5th. Now, who cares if there's a little jumble here and it looks, it's not as easy. Let's consider that the doorway. It's another doorway approach that keeps the beginners from memorizing music theory and gets you over the hurdle who, is one of the next new players that knows what the hell is up and can, listen to Adam Neely and Rick Beato and know what the hell they're talking about and it's this easy to know. What you'll have to do is once you start playing with these intervals, trying to memorize them, you just need to assign functions to them. These are functions. This is the note function list. And you define the functions with these numbers, and we give them a flat when we've grouped them. So, like for example, there's two twos, one's flat, one's regular, and that's because these have a similar function. This is another functioning group. This has a function. The thirds have a function. The fourth doesn't really um, have any other thing to function with, so it's just listed alone. Then the fifths are as you know the five. You always keep hearing about it. It's that strongest tone away from the one. So it's got its team players. It's got the gravity that has the next door neighbors all functioning with it in mind. If you're on this note, you're a flat of this. If you're on this note, you're a sharp of that note. But if you're way down here, you're kind of not in the thirds. You're not in the fifths yet. You're on a fourth, a suspended note. See, like I said, I've assigned what these are. Give them a simple assignment and they'll really start making sense. So I'll give you some assignments right here that you can know. You'll have to replay the video or write these down on notes. Write this down vertically and, write some note names next to this. Maybe that's all. That'll be my next lesson, the assignment list. But anyways, write down root next to the one. That's your root note. Your flat two. That's your jaws note. Or write down half step. It's a very melodic movement. It's got more tension than just skipping that note and moving to the two. Like, for example, 1, 2. Normal counting, 1, 2, 3. Normal sounds, normal steps. So, this is a little bit more, that's why I said jaws in the beginning. Sure, that was the commonly used for danger. Your 2, a normal step. Your flat third in your group of thirds. Well, this is happy and sad. Your sad chord, your happy chord, and that third is the operator. It's so important. It's so much a part of chords that this is going to be probably the first one. You may even know it already. Your fourth, your suspended note. You want to have a suspended sound in your chord. You're going for the fourth. You want to think about Lydian. This is your operator right here. Excuse me. Your flat fifth. That's what you'd be called when you hear talk of the tritone. The tritone row, which is what you heard in my solo a little bit while ago. I went. Just to build up tension by using notes in the scale, so they wouldn't sound totally wrong, but they would sound oddly tense. That's a tritone row. You can see that tritone has got as much trouble as the flat 2, and it's very, very similar to it in some ways. So there's some connections there. But anyways, just know that's not used very much. When you get into things like diminished chords in jazz, there is your tritone when you need it. And blues has a lot of tritone substitutions. That's the note you're going to be thinking about based on your one. These are all based on whatever one that you choose. You have 12 to choose from. Your sharp fifth, that's you're going to think about this one as an augmented. When you hear an augmented fifth chord, that's because it's got a neat little sound when you make the fifth a little sharp. Here's a not sharp fifth. Here we're going to sharp the fifth. Now, another thing to know is that when you sharp the fifth, a lot of times you're actually playing an inversion. It makes this cool new chord, but the thing is with this cool new chord is it turns out it's really just an inversion of a regular chord, and that's kind of neat when you want to start messing. Your songs get boring because now you know the major scale so well and you figured it all out. Then you go for inversions, and this will pop up a lot there. Your 6, a 6 chord, another chord tone that's got a pretty sound. But it's a chord tone. It's not commonly used in chords unless you're specifically going for a 6 chord sound, and you're also going to know your 6 as your Aeolian note. when it comes to building the Aeolian scale or playing on the sixth chord, the minor chord there. A couple things about it to know. It's pretty easy once you get it, especially is natural minor. There's the big player there. The easy way to know that's your natural major. That's is your natural minor. It's a very important note. It works in it's like the minor version of this note. Okay, then all you got left is your sevenths, your Mixolydian scale, your you'll hear it. Oh, it's like a major scale, but it's got a flat seventh. Well, it's got that note instead of that note. Your leading tone, this note, think of this as your leading tone. It always leads back to the root. So this is your T, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, T, do. So it's called a leading tone because anytime you're on it, it doesn't like to be just always trying to pull that way. That's why it doesn't really like to be played on a lot, and it's got a very special use in music, mostly in jazz, and on and on. When it comes to, it's got some chord information, it's got some scale information behind it. It's the seventh. So there, you got some assignments you can put on each of these. So holy shit, let me get to this point here. Now that we are indeed 15 minutes into the lesson. So flat third away, we're right here. So let's start picking out our scale here. Start drawing it out. Here's our 1. Here's our flat third. So, and that's going to be our 1 right there. So we know that our 1 is always part of a box. So let's draw our box pattern in a highlighter. And what this will do is allow the original scale to show through. And what you quickly begin to see here is some magic is forming. You get to see where your connector notes are. So for example, just by doing this little portion of the scale here, where we're going to have a half box up here, and a full box there, and so on and so forth in. And then, yeah, we're going to have this here, and this one here. Okay, so we've just got a little portion of the new scale down. Because let's say it goes by really quick, so you're only going to be like around here, and then you're going to be going back into your original scale. But you might want to fill this out for the whole fretboard, so no matter where you are, you'll know what to do. But all you really need to know is when you're in your original key, you can see here, this is where you'll be. There will only be, first of all, how many notes will there be if we choose E flat as our scale? Even if we choose to play in the fifth. Well, let me not get too confusing here. Let's just say this is our key, our new key. This is a flat third away. There goes my pick. Hold on. Just couldn't let that jazz pick hang out on the floor there. Couldn't let it happen. As we can see here, in our box, we've got our original scale. We've got the edge of our box has the new. All these will be outside tones when we. Well, let me see. Let me get more in the box here. Let's fill this out a little bit more, because I'd like to use like this part of the. This is the on their original key. This box here, this shape is the Aeolian scale shape. It's not for Aeolian sounding, modal sounding music. It's going to be used in there, of course, but the reason it's got that name is just to give it a convenient naming a box so you can know where this box shape is for familiarity. So that's why we're going to call it an Aeolian. Don't think that we're talking about like actually making Aeolian music for any reason. This is not used for that purpose. That's a completely different story. Oh, fuck. Now what I'm talking, I just filled out all the wrong fucking notes. Like an idiot. Okay. The idiot bastard son has spoken. How do we reconcile this? Oh, I fucked it up really bad. Okay. Let's cover that up. And we can actually make the same thing over here. So we're gonna put our box over here. What I should have in this lesson, what I would have if I edited this, a page we could look at on the screen. I'd flash up a thing that shows all these individual boxes, so you can see the names, pop out at you, so you know where you are in this jumble of things here. As you see, we've got this Phrygian box in green, which is now over the, doesn't really line up with any of the previous boxes. It's a little bit behind the old Aeolian box. So you could think about, if you're playing an Aeolian, one way to think about this is, so here's the Aeolian shape. All those notes will work on any chord in the C major scale. And have you sounding great, but then all of a sudden that new chord is going to show up from the new scale, so we would suddenly want to think that of this Phrygian style shape, starting 2 frets down. So for example, here's the 7-1 of the, let me point a little better there, 5-7-1 of the Aeolian shape, which is right here. As you see, 6 Aeolian, the shape starts at the 6. That's why it's got that name. So I'm going to be using this fret here, this new note, to make the new scale. Oops, I messed that up. So that's just going in between those scales, just kind of jumping randomly. But what you could do to be really slick is when the chord change comes up. So here's the meat and potatoes. Here's what you've been waiting for in this lesson that I've been delaying, saying this simple, easy thing. It's these where you find a green note overlaps a number. These are your shared notes. So and how many are there? Let's see. Here's a square. And here's this note. Here's the whole scale right here. A square and a bar on each side gives you almost every note you need. So we can see here that there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You might say, well, what about this one? Well, that's the 4, and the 4, that's the same as that note. So there's these scales share 4 notes. So you have 4 choices during the change to be on. You can be playing a little of this. Where are we there? What fret even is that? Let's see. That was. So these notes after, so like you can always think that when I'm playing, I know where my box is, so I know that my box is going to contain 2 notes. If I'm in the C, it's going to be basically this. Oh, no, this was wrong. I messed all that up. I can't look at that. Sorry. It's going to be 1, 4, 2, and 5. So it's going to be. These notes right here are my safe notes during the change. So I could just go during that and then branch out right into the new scale. And get back. So that's it. You just highlight and you can do this a lot neater than I did, so it'll work for you. Highlight the new scale, and so you'll be able to see which are the carryover notes. So let's hear how that'll work. Let me try to create something here. Oh, I messed it all up. Oh, I messed it all up. Okay, here we go again. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1. Okay, I didn't think that I just found out something that confused me there. I thought that my looper didn't record the mic, but apparently it is now. So anyways, we get something started here. Hold on, here we go. Well, that sucks. Something just went slightly wrong there. What did I do wrong? E flat to the 2. So we have I played D flat like an idiot. That's what I did there. I got my chords wrong. Okay, sorry. Whew. Before you laugh and think that none of this shit works out, let's try that again. Gotta erase mine. What did we do there? Oh, I cleared it now anyway, so we're fucked. Okay, what I do is C. can't make it work. So if you watch all the time, you're probably going, holy shit. How did this guy just waste an hour of my time with this fucking crap? But anyways, this is what to do, and it will work. It's just not kind of working out on how I'm doing this with my guitar sounds, and if I had some keyboards to build this up with, and was a little more practice at, well, making a real kind of a legitimate key change, nothing would really just kind of abruptly go to a sudden chord like that. It didn't really. I could probably work the chords together to make something a little bit more pleasing to the ear if I sat around and sat there composing. So, but if you do make that change, this is what it would be. If you know, any key you choose, find something you like, find the new chord. If you got a chord that's, suddenly not in the C major scale, but you want to put it in your song, and there needs to be a solo or a melody line over that where you're going to draw the melody notes from. You might want to draw them from the same conjoining notes from the original scale. So you'll put your square over these notes, and then you could actually map out for yourself. It would take you a long time, or you can just find out by supporting me on Patreon about how many notes will be shared based on where you put this square. I know some people have followed along. This is probably really clicking for some people, and other people are probably like, holy crap, what is this guy dribbling on about? So if this was useful for you, like always, leave a comment so I know what's up and where to go next, what I could teach you next. And if this, leave a criticism. If this was totally awful, then just let us know so we can make a change and make it better. Perhaps we get more on the screen here. Hello, everybody. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. It's been an hour, and typical for our live lessons. No one likes to listen for more than 10 minutes, really, anyways. So at the end of the day, like, subscribe, like everybody else says. Click the notification icon, all the things that standard YouTube creators say at the end of their videos. Do all that stuff. And we'll see you next time that we go live, and hopefully you show up and want to learn something cool. Have a great day. Now turning it all off, clicking buttons to get it turned off. Stop streaming.